Sex is the life force energy that runs through us all. Can you use sexual energy for your spiritual evolution? Or perhaps for emotional healing? Is it even possible? Clinical sexologist Dr. Martha Tara Lee will explore all these and more on Eros Evolution on Om Times Radio.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in the world. This is Dr. Martha Tara Lee. I'm a clinical sexologist and my company is called Eros Coaching. This is Eros Evolution, where sexuality and spirituality meets, and the title of today's show is Feminine, Present, and Spiritual. Is it even possible to be feminine, present, and spiritual all at the same time? During this interview, you will learn from my teacher, Rachael Jayne Groover, the link between feeling feminine, present, powerful, and being spiritual, as well as the 4 most important keys to creating a powerful feminine presence that magnetizes people to you. How can we go from being shy or afraid of putting ourselves out there to being able to feel our fear and not have it stop us anymore? Are you feeling some pain when you hear this? And also how to feel more confident with receiving positive attention. So let me tell you a little bit more about my teacher, Rachael Jayne Groover. She's an accomplished singer-songwriter from Australia. She overcame stage fright and enormous fear of rejection to becoming an award-winning vocalist, finishing her full-time singing career performing to a live audience of 40,000 people. She became an inspirational speaker and personal development trainer. She's authored the best-selling book, Powerful and Feminine, How to Increase Your Magnetic Presence and Increase the Attention and Attract the Attention You Want. So she created the Art of Feminine Presence classes and teachings that are offered worldwide by herself and about 300 certified teachers working with her, myself included. She founded the Yin Project and the Feminine Spirituality and Leadership Institute. These are initiatives that work with women on the importance of the feminine principle in intimate relationships, leadership, and in shifting global consciousness. So if you want to check out her website as we are having this show, you can check out artoffemininepresence.com. So welcome, Rachael Jayne Groover.
Hello, my dear. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy you're here.
I know. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit more in your own words about what Art of Feminine Presence is. I try to explain it to people, and I just say how it has changed my life.
Well, it is hard to explain because those 2 words, a lot of people have a different definition of what the word feminine is and what the word presence is. And I sometimes like starting with what it's not, because often in different cultures, feminine is set up to be, flowy and soft and more passive and all about, doing your hair and wearing skirts or whatever, definition we've grown up as feminine. And it's not about that in the Art of Feminine Presence and the work that you do as well. It's the feminine essence is our sexuality. If we are a woman, we've come into this body as a woman or a man, and we have a feminine essence and we also have a masculine essence. But for most of us, our primary essence that we enjoy living from is that of our sex, me for my feminine essence. And so every woman has a different feminine. It doesn't look the same, it doesn't feel the same, but it's very connected to her sexuality. And presence, some people will say presence is about being in the moment or having magnetism or charisma. And to me, and this work, it's both. How can you increase your level of magnetic presence, of that attractiveness and radiance about you that naturally draws people in, but how can you also at the same time with the same practices be very present in the moment to someone, to yourself, even when stuff is happening around you that's chaotic, that you're being triggered by things. How can you hold center and bringing those together? And as we'll explore today, and you already know that the feminine essence and your sexuality has a huge part to do with how present you can be in the moment.
So for people who are new to all this, how can they get started? Is this what you're going to share in the 4 keys today?
Yes. Yep, absolutely. And however much you want me to go into detail, you can lead me that direction or cut me off. But I love work that is obviously around sexuality and spirituality that is really practical, that you should be able to take and use immediately. So that's my hope for this hour as well.
Great. Fantastic. So yes, let's go into the 4 keys of creating this powerful feminine presence to magnetize people to us.
Yeah, so the first is the body, and how much are you in your body? And so as we're going along, I do want to bring in the conversation around sexuality and spirituality, not just drawing people to you, which is wonderful, and stopping the struggle of getting the attention that you want, the appreciation that you want. But the body is this sort of missed thing that people don't seem to have much attention on, even when they're in the middle of a sexual experience. We've talked about this. It's they're just not in their body, so they're not experiencing their own presence and pleasure and joy, and they might be just in performance mode or being completely outside of their body. And so when somebody comes into their body, meaning they're feeling their own subtle energy inside of their body, and their attention is there, their magnetism increases immediately. And there is a place in the body where we tend to get a bigger bang for our buck if we are there, and how that shows up for other people. And in the art of feminine presence, we call it the womb space or power center. But for men or women, when we drop into more of our pelvic center, that brings alive something. Not just it feels good for us, but it brings something alive in our presence and radiance. So that's the first key, our body. Are you in your body? The second one is your energy, and particularly the energy that's moving through you and around you, and learning to know how that is affecting people. Because at any time in the day, your energy is either repelling or attracting. And we use a lot of the practices in Art of Feminine Presence to give each other some feedback around, when that is happening. The third key is your voice. And what is your voice really communicating? That is when you're just one-on-one with somebody or speaking to a group or what have you. People pick up so much around the tone of your voice, whether they like you, trust you, want to date you, want to stay in relationship with you. So understanding how to be more present with your voice is the third. And the fourth is your relationship with your fear. Because if you are going to be fully embodied in your feminine, your presence, your sexuality, that brings up so much vulnerability. For me still, for you, Martha, for women all over the world to be in that place, it's a vulnerable thing. And so we have to have really simple but profound practices to master our fear so it doesn't continuously stop us from being who we want to be in a relationship or being who we want to be in our career and putting ourselves out there, whatever, goals that you have. So we can go more into depth in one or two of those if you want, but that's sort of the overview of the 4 things that I'm always coming back to. How can I increase my embodiment? be more in my body? How can I understand my energy so I'm more in that attractive force? I'm obviously a singer and speaker, so I've done a lot of work of why people listen to you or don't listen to you. And then your fear, how to master your fear so it doesn't stop you from really what your heart is calling you to do.
This is really fantastic. How did you come up with all these 4 keys, though?
Sort of by accident in a way. Like my story, it really started from thinking that I might be in my feminine, but really wasn't. Many years ago, I was single. I'd been single practically my whole life, trying to figure out what was going on. And in my just my discouragement and my feeling of rejection and all of that was going on, I was like, what is happening here? I mean, I'm smart, I'm fairly pretty, I'm, like got some things going for me here. Why is there no men around me? Or the ones that were around me were, getting out of there very, very quickly. And on that search, I did a lot of study around polarity and the feminine, the masculine, and being able to stay present, not being like right in my head on a date, and like all these things. And I started to try them out on myself. And I knew that presence had somewhat to do with the body from my performance background, and I'd studied done Haka, Korean form of yoga, and done Tai Chi, and lots of different things in my background. So I knew that when you see somebody who's on stage, who's like really in the moment, they are so in their body, or you see a martial artist who is good, or one next to them that just makes you want to weep because they're so present, they're so in their body. So I knew that I had a sense of, the energy that we don't see, but we feel had something to do with it. I already knew the voice had something to do with it. And started learning more about fear. So I became my own guinea pig, really. I started putting these practices together for myself. And when I would go on dates, or when I would go networking for my business, or go to, Toastmasters, I was practicing, around speaking at the time, I would sort of try these things on and notice how people would relate to me differently.
Great. So,
and if people...
Yeah, so more after this break on the 4 keys to creating a powerful feminine presence from Rachael Jayne Groover.
The holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic access consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Millisers, on The Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
Radio Namaste leads you down the yellow brick road into portals of consciousness with the blue-collar goddess as your host. Interviews with humans who could be famous or just popular, and answers to everything are on the agenda. Tune into Om Times Radio and drop in on Thursdays at 3 Eastern. It's a different brand of enlightenment.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. Om Times Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single Om Times endeavor. Host your show with Om Times Radio Network. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake. Free your mind. Expand your soul. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back to Eros Evolution, where sexuality and spirituality meets. And this is your host, Dr. Martha Tara Lee. I have with me today Rachael Jayne Groover. She is my teacher from the Art of Feminine Presence, and you can check out her free weekly video training on presence, purpose, and practical spirituality on her website, rachaeljayne.com. That's RACHAELJAYNE.com. Just before the break, we were talking about the 4 keys to creating a powerful feminine presence that magnetizes people to you. And the 4 keys, according to her, are body, energy, voice, and your relationship with fear. So just before the break, she was telling us about how she came across these 4 keys by just really experimenting on herself. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us with regards to your journey, teacher?
Yeah, I wanted to just teach only things that worked for me. I think there's sometimes a lot of teachers that haven't tried things themselves. And so I started putting the ones that I noticed people responding to me very differently into a program called The Art of Feminine Presence. And it was just a group of 5 women in my house for a few weeks. It wasn't meant to be anything massive, but I wanted to practice, as I always believe in mastering things, not just thinking things will change overnight, but you've got to really, practice and master that. And the other women found things changing pretty quickly too. And then, long story short, it becomes a body of work that we take around the world every year and do Art of Feminine Presence trainings in different countries and have our teacher training with beautiful women who, like you, Martha, have got the background of holding space for people and having a deep interest in feminine issues and sexuality, spirituality, and things like that. So it's been quite the ride.
Yes, it has been. For me, the last few weeks, ever since I finished the teacher training in November, I immediately started running classes in Singapore. I have 2 weekly classes that I'm running. I'm going to start a 3rd. The groups are small.
Wow.
Yeah, the groups are small. However, I'm really doing it not just for them, but also for myself in practicing
Yes.
facilitating and also participating in the Art of Feminine Presence meditation that we have. So
Good on you.
yeah, it's really starting to change things for me personally. And I guess it's just not being afraid of putting myself out there or, just showing up more. So these are
Yes.
the 4 keys that you have for people who are not doing the Art of Feminine Presence. I suppose there are ways in which they can get more in touch with their body, energy, voice, and their relationship with fear. What else would you perhaps suggest to them in showing up more?
Yeah, and I would say too, a lot has changed for me since then. Obviously the work and my career has taken off, but I did finally meet a wonderful man and got married. We've been married for many years now, and I think that what's really important if you're a woman is to understand what being more closely connected to your sexuality and your femininity can really do for you versus just be putting sexuality into a box that's like having good sex. Having good sex is great. It's really important, but being connected to your sexuality is so much more than that, which we, definitely connect with in the Art of Feminine Presence. And I often say to the women, it's like all of this comes down to you being more present in the moment and happier and feeling your own joy and feeling your own pleasure and being able to hold center no matter what. And so all of those things are connected to being connected to your sexuality.
Yeah,
So
I just have to say that I really resonate with that point. I have been so comfortable with my sexuality in terms of expressing it in the bedroom. I'm comfortable with my body, but I never really reconciled with all that with being a woman and what being feminine meant. And Art of Feminine Presence has really shifted it in ways that it's just unbelievable. it's taken me years to get to this point, and everything just became really simple and still with the art of feminine presence.
Can you give, I don't know, I mean, I feel like wanting to interview you because I just love hearing this. What would be one or two things that that did change that was, fairly tangible?
Well, it's very much with art of feminine presence. It's very much a state of being versus doing, and all these subtle energies that we feel inside us often
Yeah.
regarded as a waste of time. And we have better things to do. We have places to go, and so just by being still and really honing that energy and really
Yes.
helps with being able to reconcile with a lot of angst that we have.
Yes.
And then we start to look different. We feel different first, then we look different, and then we show up so differently in the world. And that
Yeah.
actually magnetizes people to us because we are not anxious, we are not striving all the time, and
Yes.
that by itself is beautiful.
It is. It is. Well said. And, I think that a huge piece of our evolution, whether that is what relationship do you want or what do you want in your relationship or career, is around desire. And it's around, what do I want? What do I want my life to be about? What do I want my relationship to be about? Or what, fill in the blank, any area of your life. And if you're not still and you're not in your body enough to feel, like you said, the subtle energies of what's really going on, and not doing something quickly or doing extra work or constantly watching TV in the evenings, like having that time to really be with yourself in an intentional way is everything if anything's going to change in your life. And AFP and meditation and tantra and all sorts of things, the way that they were built, at least in the beginning, was to create more presence. And I think, with certain things, when you get into the talk around sexuality, certain things got turned into more entertainment than being present. But for me and this work, it's all about that. So you can get more in touch with what you want, be able to clearly articulate that to people. So like you said, I love, you're not striving and desperate, and then people don't really want to come toward you. Then it can be more of a relaxed, relaxed feeling around you. So I agree. I mean, my relationships have completely changed from 5 years ago when I started this, and my ability to not get as triggered has changed a lot. And I love too the way you say you look different. I look back at my videos of 5 years ago, my photos of 5 years ago. I'm like, I look completely different. Hopefully not too much older, but completely different.
You're beautiful. There's just something in you, in your videos, and that's drawing women to you and also to your workshops. My roommate, Jane Alden, and
Oh,
myself,
yes.
we
Yes.
both sign up for Art of Feminine Presence because of those videos. And there's just something about you. It's definitely your presence. Maybe even before that, I didn't even know how to describe it. It's just something about this woman.
Well, I so appreciate hearing that. And I want to say that it wasn't always the case. And, whoever's listening out there today, it's a practice. And don't think that, oh, that other woman has it. I want what she has. Or, she's got the it factor and I don't. This can be cultivated. This can be taught. And that's what I've dedicated my life to, is to teach women how you can be that woman that you always wanted to be, and that you might see it in other people, and it goes through how you look and how you show up. And it's just a really important thing to remember, because if you didn't know me 5 or 10 years ago, you might think I've always been like that, and just with a video attract someone from Singapore to, Australia. It's been a learned thing, and you definitely can learn it. And there's plenty of free resources on rachaeljayne.com, like Martha said, but know that you can do it no matter where you think you are in your level of magnetism and presence.
So how can people get started? If they can't find a class on art of feminine presence in their town.
Yeah, so actually at rachaeljayne.com there is a video, so you can see what I look like at the top of the page, and that will show you some of the practices that will get you started. So then you'll be on our mailing list for free videos. I think it's a great way because it's a lot easier to see me, like demonstrating, where the energy's going, and I will do one thing and then I'll do another thing, and it's it's good to see the change when it's happening. But maybe I know we're coming up to a break soon. You can let me know, Martha, but maybe we can do the head bubble and womb space exercise when we come back.
Okay, that would be fantastic. So this has been Eros Evolution, where sexuality and spirituality meets, and we have Rachael Jayne Groover. There are 4 keys that she just shared with us. That's being in your body, being very aware of the energies that's running through you and around you, with your voice, the power of your voice, and the relationship that you have with fear. Being in our body has everything to do with being in the moment, and that will affect our presence. When we start to look different, feel different, look different, then we show up in a very different way, and that naturally magnetizes people to us without really trying very hard. And this has been one of my struggles in life, where I try to be very confident, but actually I come across as really arrogant looking and cold. So be sure to check out Rachael Jayne Groover's website at rachaeljayne.com. After this break, we'll be back with more.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Hi, my name is Monica and I'm the host of Co-Creating Now. Give yourself an opportunity to connect with your all-knowing higher self and manifest joy, love and peace together every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on Om Times Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle. Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. Om Times Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids.
Welcome back to Eros Evolution. This is where sexuality and spirituality meets. I have with me Rachael Jayne Groover, who is my teacher in the art of feminine presence. This is one practice that is already changing my life in terms of my confidence, my ease with myself, and also the way I show up in the world. It's really truly amazing practice. It's not just for women. I'm teaching some of them to men as well in Singapore, and they are actually also feeling the difference when they do the practices. And I believe Rachael Jayne is going to share with us this practice called head space, womb space, which is really fantastic in really being starting to become aware of the subtle energies that I was mentioning, talking about just now.
Yeah, it's good for so many things. And I think I'll do it first. I'll sort of show you, even though you can't see me, but you probably hear the change in my voice and my presence, and just notice what happens, because we have what I call the head bubble, which means, we're outside of our body and we're not really tuned into the present moment and inside our body. And this is where most people speak. They're in the head bubble, a little bit outside. I call it the head bubble because it's the cartoon character dialogue bubble that you might remember from the cartoons, that it's like outside the head and somebody else is talking to you like that. So when I go up to my head bubble, this is what I start sounding like. And I'm going to be outside my head now and tell you about my morning. And my morning's been pretty good. I had a lovely breakfast with my husband this morning before I came to work. We're at a new office space. And so, we came into the office and had our team meeting. I was looking forward to this call with Dr. Martha, and I've had a pretty easy day with some clients. And right, you can feel what happens when I'm up there in my head bubble.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds more airy. And
Sounds more airy.
it's even a little bit irritating, right? Like, oh my God, is this woman like an airhead? Yeah, it's so different from your other voice.
Yeah, and sometimes I go into this voice, and then usually it's like, okay, I'm in my head bubble. But what happens when I drop down into what we call womb space in Art of Feminine Presence, and you can call it power center if you're a guy watching, listening in, but essentially it's 3 inches below the navel and then back toward the spine. So imagine your pelvic bowl, and that right in the center of that, suspending pretty low, where your womb space is, it's like a globe of light, or a flower, or a crystal. And as you take a few breaths, more and more of your attention comes into your lower pelvis. More and more attention with every breath, every moment. So you're literally focusing, taking that from outside your body to very deep inside your body into your womb space. Now I'm down here. You can probably feel that drop in me. And I will just share how my day's gone from here. Same content. I had a wonderful breakfast with my husband before he went off to the office a little earlier than I did. We've got a new person that's working with us in our new office. So it just feels like there's so much new, exciting things for us right now. So I'm really enjoying coming in here. I was looking forward to talking with you, Martha, because we hadn't talked, and just been a good day with some clients. So you can feel what's happening when I'm back here.
Definitely.
And I think the most important question to ask yourself when you're listening to me, and when you're noticing if you're in your head bubble or if you're in your womb space, is with others, is how do you feel in relationship to me when I'm in my head bubble or when I'm home in my womb space? Or if you're doing it with someone else, how do you feel in relationship to them? Why is that the most important question? Because everything is about relationship. You're going to get asked out on that second date from how they feel about you. You're going to be asked, that job interview you're going to be given depending how they feel about you. I mean, it's all about how people feel around you and about you. And when you're home, something happens. So, Dr. Martha, what do you feel happens in your feeling toward me when I now drop home.
Oh yeah, it's so different. Yeah, your voice is deeper. It's more, there's more presence, more authority. I actually want to listen to you because of the way you sound, and there's a lot of warmth as well. You're speaking slower. It's just much more attractive.
Thank you. Yeah, and I hear often from our ladies, that are doing the classes like Dr. Martha's doing in Singapore, is I feel more connected. I feel more like emotionally connected. I like the person, and this all is all just happening from 30 seconds of sharing about their day. The first one wanting to sort of move away and going, oh, who is this? And the other one feeling a resonance with pretty quickly, and that's quite huge. I mean, if I said to you, you could have a practice that would create resonance with almost everyone on the planet that you wanted to create that connection with quickly and easily, so they liked you and trusted you and wanted to come towards you, how much would you pay me for that? Well, the cool thing is you got it for free here.
Yeah, it can change your life. This one thing can change lives.
Absolutely. And you might be a yoga person or a Tai Chi person or Tantra person. And then my question to you is, are you taking that practice of being in your pelvis? Are you taking that into your life? Are you taking that into your conversation with your children or your partner, or when you're in fear? Or do you just do these practices on the yoga mat or on the Tai Chi, in the Chi class, and then you forget about being home in Dantian? It's really, Art of Feminine Presence is all about the practice in real life, because if you don't practice it in real life, it's just theory. It's just a class you go to once a week. And as you know, all of our women are really like, we want to live this. And those that say, I want to live this, have big changes that happen.
Yeah. And there are people who I explain this practice to, and then they say, oh, I can really feel the difference. If only I can stay there. I don't know how. And that's why the emphasis on the word practice. Just like anything, if we practice, we get better at it. It becomes easier. We can get there faster, and we can also stay there. If only all of us can start doing this, then the world will change.
Exactly.
So for those women who are actually in their pelvis, will this also affect or change the way they walk, you feel?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely do a lot of movement practices and walk and, where your center of gravity is. And I do think that it affects that. I mean, it's not just womb space, but we talk about the hips and the energy that loves to move in the hips, and how important that is to your sensuality, is feeling your feminine. And then that connection of your womb space to your heart space. So it's not just all about only being concentrated in this area. And once we really pull more of those subtle energies together and be more in our hips and our legs, because the feminine energy loves to reside more in the hips and pelvis and down the legs. The masculine energy loves to sort of puff up in the shoulders and the chest and down the arms. And so when a woman like naturally comes back down into this lower space in her body, the way she walks looks usually more confident, a little more sensual, beautiful. But the cool thing is when we do this at the trainings, we get, women walking in beautiful ways. Their fear that naturally comes up is, oh, but I can't walk like this down the street. I'll have too much attention.
I was just going to say. So what do you do? What do you say to reassure these people?
Yeah, well, in the trainings, the reassurance is from example. So I do it, and I get some people to do it and go, do you think that I look like somebody that some man could come and attack or, be predatory about? Because that's a big fear. I know for most women, if I'm more sexual and beautiful, I'm going to be somehow, prey for a predatory male. And interesting enough, when you are more embodied and your home in your pelvis, it gives off a vibe that I am a powerful woman and you don't even want to start messing with me unless you can like meet me where I am in integrity. And so when I do that, people can see it, but they don't necessarily believe it in themselves because all they know is they've been sexy before, and that's created unwanted
Problems.
attention. And so we're not talking about just being sexy. We're talking about, yes, sexuality is more there, but you're home, you're in your power center. And so that creates a vibration of I'm a powerful woman. And predatory men do not go after powerful women. They go after women who look sexy and look like I could twist her arm there.
Yeah, there's also their fear of being perceived as a slut, you know. There's all this slut shaming that's going around. And, you know, it's very much ingrained in women because we hear these messages not just from the media and all this shaming of women, but also from our own family and parents telling us, don't dress a certain way, and we start hiding. And so it's just like years and years and layers of programming and negativity. So being in womb space or power center really helps to just feel more centered and surer. And it's great that at Art of Feminine Presence classes, we get to experiment and try different things and get feedback. And this really helps women to start realizing they can make decisions to change certain things in their lives.
Absolutely.
And yeah, this is really, really thanks to you bringing Art of Feminine Presence into the world. And of course, you did all these years of work on yourself, and it's paying off. It's certainly changed my life. And then I'm now working with a lot of women in Singapore as well.
That's so great. So great. And I think too, when we come back, I'd love to talk a little bit more about this projection. You know, it's not just about being sexy and hot, and it's not just about being powerful. It's like bringing those two together and, you know, how to do that.
Fantastic. So this has been Dr. Martha Tara Lee with Rachael Jayne Groover, and she has started this Art of Feminine Presence teacher training, and you can check out her website, artoffemininepresence.com, as well as her weekly videos, rachaeljayne.com. And her book is called Powerful and Feminine. You can get it on Amazon or check out the website powerfulandfeminine.com as well.
The future of
See you
internet
after-
radio is here. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Elia, in the circle on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
This is Eros Evolution on Om Times Radio, and you can actually listen to our show by going to the link omtimes.com/mobile. You just need this link to be able to listen to the show. And if you share this with your friends, I'm sure they will appreciate it, because, with mobile phones, sometimes you need to download applications and stuff, and you don't really get the sound quality. And this is advanced technology that this OmTimes Radio is offering. So do share this link, omtimes.com/mobile. So we have Rachael Jayne Groover with us, and she has brought the art of feminine presence into the world with now 300 certified teachers around the world. And she is pretty much changing the world with her feminine movement. So tell us more, teacher, that about how you were just talking just now about women feeling really unsafe and being prey to predatory men. Actually, how can women not fall into this trap?
Yeah, I think it's safety is one of the biggest reasons why women disconnect from their feminine. I mean, I think there's other reasons. It hasn't been, politically correct to be too feminine, or they don't think it's going to lead them to being really productive and win in their career. But I think safety is a big thing. I mean, we all know someone, if it wasn't our own self experiencing it, of being in our feminine and being attacked in some way, whether that was sexual abuse or just unwanted attention. So we've got all of that, in our background as we try to reconnect to our feminine essence and sexuality. And this word projection that we were just hinting at a little bit before the break is really important around this, because some women project their sexuality, and that does cause unwanted behavior and unwanted attention a lot of the time. And then some women blame it on men. And so projection means you're not in your body and you're trying to send a signal to someone else that